Greetings, viewers, and welcome back to Phasmophobia for another weekly challenge. This time we have the apocalypse draws near. By far, most difficult challenge that we've seen so far. There are certainly more annoying challenges, like I think detectives only or audio only were pretty bad. They might even take you as long as this one. But in terms of being difficult to figure out what the ghost is, and to stay alive, the apocalypse draws near is second to none. It is by far the most difficult. In fact, you probably would earn more doing this just with the custom difficulty rather than doing the challenge. So the 5,000 is not really probably worth it. Still, it's a fun challenge to give it a go. It's been handcrafted by the devs, so I recommend giving it a go still. So maybe in a team instead of solo, though, just to give you a hand, especially if you're not great at the game. But without further ado, let's hop in and see what's in store for us this week. Alrighty, here we are. It looks like all tier 3. Thank God, because got a little bit of a freeze. Because this would be pretty challenging with tier 1. If they give us tier 1 for this, it would have been incredibly mean. The only exception is maybe this guy here, the smudge stick, and I'll explain why later, why tier 1 might actually be better, even with this challenge. So what is the apocalypse draws near? As you'll see, there's no breaker on the map, which in this case, it's broken. We've got this, so we might as well use it. Going to use this, you just hold down, well, actually it depends on your key bindings, but it's holding down your head cam keybind, which is usually your flashlight. And that allows us to hold 2 smudge sticks, which will be pretty important. So what is Apocalypse Draws Near? Well, it is the max difficulty gold trophy apocalypse challenge. However, we move at normal speed and we can sprint. That's the only difference. So everything else cranked up to the max. Got max speed of the ghost, 0-second grace period, no evidence. Breaker's broken. We can see it right over there. And the other difference is it's on Sunny Meadows restricted, which could even make it more difficult. Because we're a little bit concerned it hasn't started to hunt yet. Might be wandering over to me. Because it increases the likelihood that this is going to be the ghost room, which is why I'm bunkered down here rather than going further into the map. Whereas on Sunny Meadows, it's way more likely the ghost is like the full map. It's way more likely it's going to be a long way away from you. Sunny Meadows restricted, much more likely it's right here. This is very unusual. Now the likelihood is I'm going to die a lot. I'm going to include every game because it's almost guaranteed I'm going to fail multiple times. Don't hear anything. It means it's probably far away. Interesting. I don't know why it wasn't hunting. Sometimes ghosts just be weird. Okay, we got downstairs by the looks. Now, oh yeah, this is a graphical bug that's on Sunny Meadows at the moment. They don't know why it fixes it. You can kind of hide here. I think it's very far from here, though. I'd say it's in here. just open that. So those doors still lock even on the freaking small map. I don't know why. It's the worst mechanic they've ever introduced. It used to be like... You can still hide here, I think. Don't hear it. Yeah, we have a 0-second grace period here, so once she starts, and then that's it. We're in trouble. We'll get a little closer. I recommend being fairly cautious on this difficulty. Because yeah, if you happen to be right next to it and it hunts, you just die, basically. With a 0-second grace period, you have no reaction. You have no time to react. Crucifixes are really good for preventing that. Like, if the ghost is coming to you, for example, you can set up kind of like a base at the front door. You can then work out between Banshee and Phantom and Wraith. I hear nothing. This is a miling. I don't even hear it throwing anything or anything like that. Yeah, I think it is in here. I don't know the hiding spots down this side that well. I rarely had ghosts on this side, to be honest. Just a matter of luck. So why the tier 3 might not be better? Well, certainly on max apocalypse difficulty, normal max apocalypse difficulty. Tier 3 isn't the best because you can't move, right? It's almost impossible for you to get away from the ghost. You want the ghost to run away from you. I think that's unfortunately very normal. Just running around here. Again, being in there is like suicide, so... really want to be in there. Can't hear anything. It's definitely normal. Alright, I'm gonna have to do some crazy shit here. Unfortunately. Now we can't test for Jinn. Jinn is just out. Because the breaker's broken. Should see me at some point. There she comes, I think. No? Not sure. Not sure. 10:15 on my timer. You can see again where the paramic's a bit dodgy. Doesn't really help that much. Because it doesn't even reach down the end of this corridor. Be able to hear the footsteps. Bit sad, really. That the tier 3 paramic doesn't even catch the footsteps from all the way down there. it's hunting, but still not catching the footsteps at this range. It's got a really terrible range. It's the ones we don't know. We know it's not that. No, it's not this. That's not glitching. I think that glitches pretty obviously. That's not this. Hear it? I think it's the twins. No. 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 Definitely no. No. Jinn, we can't tell. Might as well rule it out. We can't tell Jinn at all. Without the breaker. The only way you can think it's a Jinn is if you rule out the only way you can actually make sure it's a Jinn if you manage to rule out every other ghost. It's very hard to do. Probably not a demon. Not really hunting enough. I just start under potion go out now. Not hearing a lot of throws, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not a poltergeist. Uh-oh. It's not glitching out though, look at it. Maybe that's not a good test. Paramic fails again. However, it still definitely would count for the Raiju, right? The Raiju would have definitely gotten close enough just then to... the Paramic would have caused it to go faster. Also, like during the first hunt when I smudged it, I was using the headcam. Raiju will also speed up from that, so we know it's not a Raiju. So the Jinn, its abilities only work if the breaker's on, and with the breaker being broken, we can't turn it on. So that's why we can't test for Jinn. It literally cannot use them. It's the main condition of both of its abilities is that it has the breaker on. It is the breaker ghost after all. Okay, pretty sure it's that miling. Oi, you. Come over here. Oi. Oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Oi. Oi, come over here. Oi. Oi, 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 oi. Pretty sure he's coming right here as soon as he heard me. I'm gonna say it's not a yokai. I did smudge it while I was outside just then. But I heard that once he got within range, he started just pelting this way, which is a yokai, not a yokai, I think. This is going to get really tough. Are you still in here? Not sure if it's still in there, unfortunately. Oh, it has to be in there. I think there's no other choice. Okay, in that case. I didn't really time my smudge very well then, but what are you going to do? Pretty sure it was a demon had already hunt anyway. It also just hasn't been aggressive enough really for a demon. Well, I mean, that's not a guaranteed thing. But if it has been a demon, I should really go get my last smudge, but oh well. I'm getting a bit bored with this ghost. So that's oh no, I've got one here. Oh no, that's used. Never mind. Yips. Oops, that's no good. That's no good. We're probably going to explode here. In all honesty. Because without the protection of that crucifix... Oops. Okay, I'm dead. That's alright. I have no idea. I think... So it's not this. I don't think it's not Rio. Actually, Gorio. Because it hasn't changed rooms. A lot of these, I'm pretty sure it's not. It still could be a Shade, still could be a Ure, still could be a Mare. Still could be a Jin, of course, as I was saying. Obake. Oh, I didn't see it transform at all. Maybe it did. That was one of the reasons I was doing that last-ditch sprint. Because Obake you can see. And I was... Yeah, the thing is, it has a guarantee... I think every time it blinks... So every time it blinks... It has... This is why I didn't reel Obake out. Because really, it... can be pretty easy to miss. So it's got a 16% chance, I think, every time it blinks to transform into a different ghost model. It's a really cool ability, actually. But it's guaranteed to transform at least once per hunt. But on this difficulty, it is kind of hard to spend enough time looking at the ghost to guarantee that you've got it. Especially considering, like, usually it'll start in another room, right? And if you miss the really fast blink, like if you go back, you may have actually even seen it. I didn't. I missed it quite clearly. Both times I had a good look at the Obake. It was a crawling little girl. And I was pretty sure it was a crawling little girl the entire time. But maybe not. Okay, so we don't have downstairs this time. We have right. Isn't too... Yeah, it's not the best. Let's hunker down here. This is actually where I did my gold trophy. Was here, and the ghost totally would have killed me if it wasn't a Moroi. Moroi is weak against smudges, although they've nerfed that weakness in the latest update, making Moroi even more powerful. I don't know why, but they did. Actually, I do know apparently the reason. Apparently the reason was that they didn't want the Morois stunned for the entire hunt, but that would only, even if they just kept it the same, that would only happen on amateur. on a small map. So I don't really understand. It only applies for a very small part of the game. Why that's even a problem for amateur players to be able to stun the ghost for that long. Especially considering it's one of the most dangerous ghosts. Easily one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous ghost. I can't hear it. Where are you, ghost? These light switches sound really awful. I don't know why. Sometimes they sound right, sometimes they're just awful. Like, click, click. And they've done something with the sound, I think, in this game. Just in general, there's like even the ghost sounds don't seem right anymore. I swear they're quieter than they used to be. Like footsteps, ghost noises, all of it. It's made telling Mylings even more difficult. Can't be in here. It's got to be at the front. No wonder why I wasn't hearing it. Okay. Must be in the chapel then. Because I kind of went past the chapel. Well, the chapel area at least. These doors haven't been touched. What? Yep, let's say it's in here. Does mean it can explode directly on top of me. Another normal ghost. I mean, even my heartbeat sounds weird. What have they done recently? I don't know if that's just my headset. I don't know, because sometimes things sound totally the way they used to sound. And sometimes they sound awful. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah. Chuck this in here. I'm not 100% sure where this ghost is. I'll listen again here. Oi. Over here. No, it's not right. Hello. There's a fair bit of throwing then. Oop, check time. Okay. Where are you? I think it's in the chapel. Or is it in... Give us a sign. Are you here? Where are you? Give us a sign. No, because it can't be there. Unless it's just out here. It might be out here. Are you? Give us a sign. Where are you? Give us a sign. Hello. Oof. I don't know. We'll do this anyway. think it's in the chapel though. Might mean it. Onryo is a little unlikely. Kind of, maybe. A bit complicated the way Onryo works in the chapel. Manages to blow everything out. Yep, okay. They're not perfectly positioned there, but I wanted. Oh, hello there. You are creepy. You are singing, but I don't really think you're coming near, like, towards me. Problem with these crucifixes is their range is way larger than the candle. Oops, this was a bad idea. Comes in here, probably can't survive this. Is it an Oni or is it normal blinking? I think I saw some long blinks in there, but I'm gonna have to have another look. Oh yes, it can't be spirit, by the way. I don't think it's on Rio. I think it would have been stopped by a candle then. Even though it was clearly in range of... it was clearly out of range of my crucifix, so it was out of range of the candles that I just had out there. But the chapel itself has a shite ton of candles in it. Let's have a look if they're all on. Like, it has a reasonable amount. I don't know whether these can actually be blown out. So maybe not. I don't really know which ones can be blown out and relit these days because they've changed it for performance reasons. So maybe it doesn't count well enough. Maybe it's not a good test. It's hard to say. It looks like it's moved Ghost Room, I think, to here. Oops. Oh, I died. I mean, it was very visible. Maybe it is an Oni. Mimic. Never being a fast ghost, you bugger. Okay, again, let's give it a go. See if we can get some ghost right. And this can take a lot of attempts, so don't get too worried if you're struggling with this. Wait for the hunt. I didn't grab a lighter, which is going to really suck. I think I know what it is. Yep, it's a Dio. I'm just hearing these machine gun footsteps coming at me. Dio. So Dio, if you don't have a smudge, you might be in trouble, but otherwise, you're going to have no problems. On actual Apocalypse, I might wait for one more just to make sure it's not a mimic. On actual Apocalypse, you have to be pretty good because you're moving at 50% speed. You have to be pretty... Make sure you don't get caught on like corners and stuff, you know? Because the Dio can catch up to you in that case. But even at 50% speed with no sprint, Dio is slower than you are, but only just. It's only just slower than you are. So this is one of the best looping spots. In the front here, like if I was doing the same thing again on the proper 15 times max difficulty, this is the next best looping spot. And this is where you'd normally smudge and try and make it in here, and then you loop him around the table here. But we will wait the minute and a half to get another hunt, just to make sure it's not a mimic, because you don't want to get fooled by a mimic. Obviously, the big thing with Dios, don't get yourself in a corner without a smudge stick. Yeah, like straight away I'm hearing these footsteps, not that's fast, that's really fast, and it's coming directly towards me. If you're ever hearing that, it's almost always Diogen, right? Be careful because it can be Thay. But particularly on like Apocalypse, there's not really much you can do anyway. So just be prepared that once it gets, you know, because if it continuously comes towards you. Sounds pretty fast to me. Sounds like it's coming straight at me. There you are. Hello, buddy. Hello. Whoops. Don't do that on normal Apocalypse. He must be in one of the furthest rooms because he barely makes it to me. Or the hunt runs out. But that's a Dio. Definitely. That's a mimic. I'll be very upset. Of course, if you're caught without a smudge against a Dio like that, just put Dio in. On the weekly challenge, you can die. It doesn't make a difference. That's probably the easiest ghost on this difficulty. There we go, Diogen. On to the next one. 2 more. Which is probably going to be 5 more games. So even the, I'm nowhere near that, but even the best players will rarely get 3 out of 3 doing this challenge. So don't be too hard on yourself if you are struggling with this, because there is a lot of RNG. Like if it pretty much even like the best players I've ever seen just never considered Jin. If you get a Jin, you're in for pain because it's very hard to rule out some of the other ghosts. Like Mare, I think I could have ruled out Mare in that no, maybe not. No. Sometimes you can rule out Mare if they turn on a light. But if you're not close enough to them and notice they turn on a light, like it has to be, you know, in between the hunts, you don't get a lot of opportunity to. Urei, its ability, if it doesn't do its ability, but Urei often doesn't do its ability. You can also do the smudge trick with a Urei, because it's got a weakness to smudges, it stays in the room, but lots of ghosts stay in the room after you smudge them, so that's not really... On this difficulty, though, it probably is a higher chance for a ghost to leave the room, but the biggest problem is you don't really want to waste a smudge to test for a Urei. You'd just rather die, to be frank, because Ureis are just really hard. Goryo, you have to make sure you know the room that is his favourite room. Oh, fuck you. You are right here. I think this might be a shade. And this might be one of the rare times you can pick a shade. I was going to get on to shade next. Thank you for that. Oh, it can't be a shade because it threw something. So shades shouldn't be able to. Now, I have a theory. Might not be right. I have a theory that Banshees and Phantoms, I need to test it. I can't hunt during their wander to you. I think they can hunt on the wander back to their ghost room, but on the wander to you, they can't. And that is what sometimes causes them to have inconsistent hunting. I don't know why I'm only grabbing 2. Don't want to go too far in because I get locked in. So yeah, shade shouldn't be able to throw in your presence, really. Like, it just shouldn't be able to. Doesn't mean it can't, in my experience. Sometimes it still does. Now the Wraith obviously teleports to you. Oh, you tried to kill me, did you? You tried to kill me, you bastard. Yes, so the Wraith isn't stopped by... stopped from hunting. Like I think the Banshee and Phantom might. Maybe. I need to test it though. But it was a little bit suspicious that was... we will grab that. What else was there? Oops. Definitely want that. I think this is also the ghost room though. It's not a phantom. Sorry, not a wraith. Definitely throwing in here. You're throwing quite a bit, aren't you, buddy? So this is the ghost room by looks. So it's it might not be one of the wandering ghosts. I'd say it's probably not a demon. This is one of the hardest ghost rooms on this difficulty. I'm probably going to die here, to be quite frank. Very little chance I'm going to survive. Especially if I can't figure out this ghost. But why isn't it hunting? Again, the shade, theoretically, well, there we go. That really rules out shade. Rules out Onryo. Rules out quite a few ghosts. Just an incredibly non-aggressive ghost. It's very unlikely to be a mech. Demon, it still can be. This is really bad now. Because we're running out of ghosts that it cannot be. Maybe this isn't the ghost room. Maybe it's a banshee. Alright, well if all... I don't know what to do. I mean, that was one ghost event, but it's not a singing ghost event. It's smudged without thinking just then, by the way. Okay, from its speed, I should have known it wasn't a ghost event. Yeah, sorry, it wasn't a hunt. This is just deadly, right? This is a very deadly situation. It's probably the worst ghost room, like I said, on this difficulty. Oh, you're so sus, dude. You are very sus. Like, Really? Really? When I walk out here, you leave your room to move this. That is really sus. So we're going to put these right in the corner because we don't really care about stopping the ghost efficiently. What we're looking for here is, does it walk to me? There, hey? I could also use Paramic. That's quite... Hello, Banshee. How are you doing, Banshee? I should take... Hello there, how are you? What a coincidence that you're standing over here with me. So, I should really take a photo of it during those ghost events. I was an idiot not doing that. That was bad of me. I might not have been able to anyway. But... I should have left this over there. What am I doing? Bring it back here. Shiny one. Because it still could be a phantom. Phantoms usually do not use their ability this much, though. Like, seriously, it's very rare. Banshees, on the other hand, often use their ability that much. They are very... they use their ability a lot. So, very likely this will kill me. Because the phantom will disappear. That's its big thing, right? When you take a photo of it. It won't appear on photos. So I think I still think what I say about the banshees and phantoms when they're wandering is right, but I need to test it a lot more. And I think the reason that it's like that, it actually makes them more dangerous because it means they complete their wanders to you. So particularly on a difficulty like this, they'll wander to you, they'll make it the whole way, then they're able to hunt all of a sudden, and they'll often hunt from directly on top of you. And I should have brought my other smudge over too. It isn't necessarily wandering to me too often. Then again, it did back to back then earlier. It was a little suspicious. So basically, yeah. Now, we know it's... almost certainly been very consistent behavior that it's wandering to me. Just between the two. Like I said, Banshee does it a lot more. Also can't do it on different levels. But I don't think we have... we don't have different levels. I'll try and get it goes. It's not really doing it now. Look at this. It's not really doing it now. Which could mean phantom. Actually, phantom, I could just check it during a hunt. It'll be near invisible. Oi. No, definitely not a phantom. Yep, not a phantom. Alright, I'm pretty sure it's a banshee. It's still, like, wandering over to the piano twice. Like, first over to the wheelchair, then over to the piano, was very suspect, right? The other stuff earlier, you could, it was the ghost room, definitely normal ghosts could do that. So this still could be not a banshee. It still definitely could be, but I would say it's about a 70% chance it's a banshee. And again, we got a nice photo. And it definitely wasn't, the invisible parts of the blink were not long enough for a phantom. There we have it. It was a banshee. Probably actually higher chance, because just the likelihood of it wandering to the wheelchair And then after I brought more items back, it wandered over to the piano is very, very low. The likelihood of it doing that so far out of the ghost room twice within about a minute. It's really like a phantom shouldn't be able to do that. That was the reason why I was so sure it was a banshee, even when I was tossing up whether it was a. And then I remembered you can just look at a phantom during a hunt. I don't know why I didn't think of that until really, really late. I was like, I'll just wait for a ghost event. And I was sitting there waiting, nothing was happening. Yeah, they're way easier to tell during a hunt than via ghosts. Well, actually, it's like half dozen of one, half dozen of the other. It's easy with a photo and with a hunt, depending on your circumstances. So into the next one. So yeah, I do need to test my theory. It basically means getting a lot of banshees and phantoms though, and getting a lot of hunts. So it's going to be a very slow one. But yeah, I do think that they complete their wander before they begin hunting, and that often leads to those kind of periods where you're waiting. I think it may like interrupt the normal hunt check cycle. And you often get these kind of periods where they don't hunt really strangely. But that's not always the case, though. Like, this is a big thing, right? You know, it's all random chance, right? So but I have observed, actually, when I first noticed it, it was on True Apocalypse difficulty when I was against a Banshee and a Phantom. And I noticed that they were very inconsistent. Even when they were really aggressive, they'd be hunt back to back to back, and then they'd just stop for like a minute. And it's because they were so far away from me that the wander took so long. That was my theory, anyway. But I do need to test it a lot more. And like I said, this actually it doesn't make them less dangerous because they hunt less. It makes them more dangerous because they're more likely to hunt from immediately on top of you, particularly in the full apocalypse difficulty, because you're not moving very much and there's zero grace period. Because the Phantom and the Banshee often miss you on other difficulties as well. They'll walk past you because you're moving so much. And they go to the location that the player that they've targeted is at that. So they basically set a waypoint at that player's location. If that player moves before they get there, particularly if they will have to walk long distances, they'll go to where the player was, not where the player is. The Wraith will always teleport on top of a player. But on Apocalypse, you move so slow, and you often adopt this kind of tactic where you slowly walk through the map. Again, you're half speed, you have no sprint. So you generally, and the ghosts so fast, you're usually really cautious. Banshees and Phantoms will often appear very close to you because the waypoint will be very close. I don't really like this side. Yeah, it's silly here. A bit dangerous, but anyway. But that's my theory. I need to test it a lot more to guarantee that that's actually what's happening. I could be completely wrong. And just because you're getting those kind of slow points is not necessarily indicative of a Phantom or Banshee either. It's not particularly the most useful knowledge. It's just something that's I find it interesting because I just like to I find the inner workings of the game interesting, you know, the actual mechanisms that are used in the game and uncovering them. Sounds fast, is it? No. Is it? I think it is. The Thay? I think maybe. I can barely hear it. It's like going in and out of range. Like I was right on the edge of the audible range there. Oh, don't you dare. So that's really bad. Anything where it actually teleports the ghost to your location is super deadly. You need to be very concerned when it does things like that, because you have a 0-second grace period, right? 0 seconds. So if it happens to end up in the same room as you say goodbye, kind of thing. I'm just going to grab Paramic because I really want to hear the footsteps much better. I should have timed that too, but I swear I heard it fast. I think it should be able to hunt any time now. There has to be a Thay. Morroy's not that fast. Morroy and Hunter aren't that fast. They're the next two that without anything nearby are fast. So again, a Jinn could be that fast, but only with the breaker on. Obviously the breaker's broken, so it can't be Jinn. On this difficulty, Jinn, again, just ignore it. Raiju. Now, like, that could have been within range for the Raiju to speed the Raiju up, but I heard it before. What are you doing? I heard that it was fast previously. It's been fast every hunt, from what I can tell. Moroi and Hantu are a little slower than that. It's very hard to tell the difference. I will admit it's pretty tough to tell the difference. Even though they actually have a considerable, they have about like 20%, I think, difference in speed. No, maybe not quite. No, about 20% difference in speed. Even then, unless you're really good at it, it can be really hard, especially considering it's so scary being anywhere near one of those ghosts. Because it's terrifying. You hear how fast that is. It would have belted up. Yeah, it would have caught up to me really fast. Moroi and, unfortunately, on this, like, the heavy rain, Moroi and Hantu are very similar in speed. I think the Hantu can get slightly faster in some, if the temperature drops. Yeah, like, basically it depends on the temperature of the room with the Hantu. Some temperatures can be just a little bit above the threshold. So it can be... You can hear the variation of speed. It is really, really hard, though. I've only done it, like, once or twice because a lot of the rooms are roughly the same temperature, so the Hantu is roughly the same speed. One of the easier ways to test for Hantu is to look at it. But I don't think the Hantu is that fast. Like, that is... I think... Like, I'd be expecting it's Thay or faster. And a Rev and a Dio, it can't be a Rev and a Dio, because Rev has to know where you are. Dio is fast when it's far away, and slow when it's right next to you. So, and it always finds you. As long as the map isn't, as long as the hunt's long enough, it'll find you, basically. Because it always knows where the players are. So they were out. They're the only things that were that fast or faster. Which really left Thay. Again, I don't play 150% speed too much. I've played a number of hours of it. It took me many hours to get the 3 trophies. I think it took me about 3 or 4 hours, I think, of trying. But one of them, one of those hours was literally a shade that I knew was a shade. I just couldn't get the ghost photo. It just wasn't doing anything, and I went to the toilet because I was like, well, you never come near me, you hardly ever hunt, so I'm just going to just go AFK in a room that you've never come near, and it killed me when I was in the toilet. Literally died of boredom. But that's the highest difficulty in the game, minus the sprinting and speed penalty. It's pretty tough. I got a bit lucky there at the end, like the Dio and the Thay, very lucky. The Banshee's a little bit more complicated, especially considering the Ghost Room. I'm quite glad that I figured out that it was coming to me. I kind of felt like it was even when I was in the Ghost Room, but the thing is that inside the Ghost Room, the likelihood of it randomly wandering near a player is really, really high. So that was, as soon as I figured out the Ghost Room, what that was, the Ghost Room, which I could tell by the fact that it was colder than every other room. I was like, well, it may not be a Banshee, but then when I went to move further into the map away from the ghost, it followed me. And that's very suspicious, and that's Banshee. So I still got reasonably lucky. It's a pretty hard challenge. I would recommend going with your friend or even just random people who know the game very well, because especially if you're new to the game, it is pretty challenging on this difficulty. Even with the normal movement speed and the ability to sprint, the ghosts are super deadly, and it's a no evidence challenge as well, of course. So you need to use the ghost abilities exclusively, which is pretty difficult. It is definitely the most difficult weekly. Again, probably not the most annoying weekly. At least it's a little bit fun, unlike some of the others where you're walking around high school looking for a ghost that doesn't do anything. So yeah, that's this week's weekly. The apocalypse draws near. Hope you gain something, and remember, dose makes the poison. Thank you.